All right, please listen to this and then you are going to answer and read the comprehension that I have shared with you. So, screen sharing is stopped. Can you look at the screen now?
Watching
No.
you.
Watching your pic.
All right. Okay, tell me when you can hear
Unit
it.
2,
Okay, now can you hear
Recording
it?
2.
Yes, yes.
Now, you might think of a library as a dusty old place full of books that nobody uses anymore. But in a living library, the books are real people. People who can share a significant personal experience or a particular perspective on life. Today, we've got two people here to tell us about their living book experiences. Alex Fuller, who was a book at his Living Library event in Sheffield, and Saba Chaturanga, who was a reader at an event in Norwich. First of all, Alex, hi.
Hello.
Alex, can you tell us a little bit about the experience? What kind of book were you and what was it like?
Yeah, well, the event was organised by the university and was meant to tackle prejudices. I arrived in a bit of a hurry and quickly checked through the catalogue to see what kind of books were available and to sign myself in as a student.
A student, okay. And what sort of prejudices were you expecting?
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure what to expect really, but when you read the catalogue, against each book, there are a few of the typical prejudices and preconceptions that people might associate with your title. So next to student, people had written things like lazy, politically apathetic, do useless degrees, and also waste taxpayers' money, can't cook, and spends all his money on beer. Well, thinking back to the previous night, I wasn't sure how I was going to tackle any of those accusations.
I see. So what did you do?
Well, first we just had to go and sit in the waiting room, and I was beginning to have second thoughts, to be honest. I was quite uneasy about it all, but anyway, then the public started coming in. It was like sitting on a shelf, waiting and hoping that someone would choose you, and hoping that you would be able to find something to say when they did.
Right, and presumably someone did choose you?
Yeah, an older man with grey hair and a suit came to collect me.
Oh.
And as we were walking over to our corner, I was planning my responses to the expected accusations. But in fact, as we started talking over coffee, we compared our experiences. You know, student life in the 1960s with its riots and protests, wild music, and all the ambitions they had of changing the world, and student life now.
Okay, and what did you discover? Anything interesting?
Actually, we found that we shared a lot of the same ideologies and that many things haven't really changed.
Ah, well, that's interesting. So, do you think there was any point in the session? Did it change your opinions at all?
I think the directness of the experience was eye-opening, really. It forces you to have a very candid discussion, so people have to keep an open mind about things, and that has to be good.
Thank you. And Saba, how was your experience? Was it similar? Did you enjoy the living book experience?
Hi, thank you. Yes, I really enjoyed the experience. I went to a 3-hour session in Norwich and I was really surprised at how much I learnt. It gives you a chance to really talk to people who may be from a different religion or culture, people who you don't normally get to talk to in your everyday life.
Great. Well, so who did you talk to?
I met all kinds of people, some wonderful people. One of them was a lady called Carrie, a blind woman.
Oh.
Carrie is visually impaired, having lost her sight due to illness when she was a child. The first thing that struck me about Carrie is that she's fiercely independent. She doesn't like other people doing things for her, so you can imagine that can be a bit difficult.
Absolutely. So what did you learn from Carrie?
Okay, her mission was to tackle the stigma that people attach to blind people, that they're helpless. So she wants to challenge the stereotype that just because a person can't see, they can't do anything for themselves.
And how does she do that?
Well, Carrie lives a perfectly normal life. She goes to work, goes out socially, and does all the things that the rest of us do. Well, she can't drive, but that was really one of her few limitations. She told me about other successful blind people around the world who have had a great impact on society. People who've been successfully employed or taken degrees, published books, even participated in Olympic events. These are the people that have been Carrie's inspiration.
That's wonderful. Tell me, did you ask Carrie about her other senses? You know, people often say that people who are blind use their other senses because these are quite well developed.
That's right. Carrie feels that she's quite a good judge of character because she's able to see people for who they really are on the inside, rather than just how they want to present themselves, or how you may judge them because of the clothes they're wearing. As she put it, she's able to see with her heart rather than her eyes.
Okay, how interesting. So, did the conversation change your views on disability?
Yes, it did, definitely. My conversation with Carrie gave me a whole new perspective. It taught me not to be narrow-minded about disability, and I thank her for that.
Okay. Okay. So it means very, very nice. So we have heard to a very interesting conversation between these people. So now I would like to hear from you guys, and I want to see and I want to listen that what you have understood. What is the living library?
Living library where the people sit and they discuss about, and that's why I went to library and see the catalog of books against each book, and sat with the old man, and he discussed with him difference between now and then and 60s, and when he asked what you felt the difference, he said in ideology and not much change is there. Then there was a what a girl that she was spent 3 hours session and sat with a blind woman was Gary, and talked about different people's background. She loved to she enjoyed there, and when she met the blind woman, uh, she's heard about that she don't like to take any help from others. She love to work herself and independently, and she lives like a normal life, and she talk about other blind successful people, and she's not discouraged herself in any ways. And as she said, she see with her heart rather than eyes.
Okay, that's great.
Is it?
Well done. Well done. Do anyone
Thank
else
you.
who would like to add, Saima? What did you understand from their conversation?
Um, as per I could understand, there were two persons and they supposed themselves the part of the library, and they met different people to observe their life, to learn about their lives, because life is the biggest source of learning, as we learn from books. So they learn from their lives, and one person, I actually couldn't get the whole thing, but what I got, I am trying to reveal that there were two persons and three characters actually. One wanted to know about others' views. So one person talked about the ideologies and prejudices of the people of society, and that was kind of a boring topic that in the end of the session he learned nothing, but actually there was nothing interesting. But as for the girl, there were so many interesting things, because she had conversation with a blind woman who had a lot of things, lot of interesting things, and the girl learned a lot from that woman, and she liked it, to spend time with that. And she also learned that to be blind is not a biggest thing, but when you are a blind, when you are physically impaired, then your heart has great power, insight power. So you explore the world much more as compared that you can see with your mortal eyes, and you become able to feel the world from your senses, rather your visual senses. What I got, this is, I'm not sure how much I'm right, but as I told you that I couldn't get the whole thing. So what I understood, I shared here.
Very good, Saima, very good. So they are talking about living library. So we'll discuss the concept of living library. Living library means that instead of talking and reading books, you talk to people. You share your ideas with them. In this way, you get new ideas and you got solutions. So this is a new term, and I have shared a text in the group as well about living library. So can you please take out your that text from the WhatsApp group that I have shared? Please take out that, and we're going to read that. And can you change people's opinion by talking to them? So can you take out that text that I have shared in the group? Ji Amina. So Amina, please, can you read it for me?
I can't see anything in screen.
In the no, it's not in the screen. It's in on your mobile. Take out your.
Can I read it?
Ji Asif, you can read.
Okay. The title of this slide: Can we change people's opinion talking to them? The idea of living library originated in Scandinavia. Readers came to the library to borrow real people in the same way that they would normally borrow books. They can then take them away to the corner for a 15 minutes chat in the course of which they can ask any questions they like and hear real live answers. The idea is that by
आपकी ना आपके ड्रॉयर में ना इस तरह की बुक पड़ी हुई छोटी
Miss Tyra, muted. Gigi, continue, Asif.
the idea is that by doing this, the reader will start to uncover some of the preconceptions that they may have. And the book is able to try and dispel a few of the typical stigmas, stereotypes, and the
Prejudices. Yes.
they encounter in their everyday life.
Okay, thank you so much. Very nice. So what do you understand by this idea, that the idea of living library originated in Scandinavia? Readers come to the library to borrow real people in the same way that they would normally borrow books. So they can take them away to a corner for 15 minutes. So what they do, they just talk to them about anything, about the problems that they are facing, in the course of which they can ask any question they like and hear real live answers. So they can hear the answers and they can talk to them about anything. The idea is that by doing this, the reader will start to uncover some of the preconceptions that they may have. And the book is able to try and dispel a few of the typical stigmas, stereotypes, and prejudices they encounter in their everyday lives. So when they talk to the people, they figure out that their concepts are stereotypes, and if they have stereotypes, you need to find out the meaning of this word: stereotype, preconception, prejudices. So you are going to talk, you're going to find out the meaning, and we will discuss in the next class. So what they find interesting is that when they talk to them, their understanding of the things get better, and they get new ideas, and they start thinking out of the box. Do you like this idea of living library?
It's absolutely
Yeah, ma'am. It is, of
wonderful
course, it's a
idea.
wonderful idea.